Let's bring in my second panel for the evening. Shadow Environment Minister Jonathon Duniam and Senior Fellow at the Menzies Research Centre, Nick Cater. Welcome, gents. The Albanese government's promise to buy Rex Airlines if no other buyers emerge has been slammed as a massive waste of taxpayer money by one of their rivals, Hinterland Aviation. The CEO of Hinterland Aviation claims that Rex is struggling to find buyers because its fleet is outdated, unsupported and financially unsalvageable. Jono, I just find it so funny that we have the government now proposing to nationalise an airline that it essentially ran out of business because they tried to have a go at running planes between capital cities, but of course that market is so tightly regulated by the federal government that they never had a chance to get anywhere with it, and now they want to buy the thing.
Yeah, the lack of coherence in the government's policies is astounding here, and of course the people that will pay the price ultimately will be the people of regional Australia who depend on airlines like Rex. I mean, fundamentally though, the idea of a government owning an airline, particularly a regional airline competing with other small regional airlines, is going to have a massive impact on the viability of these other businesses and again flow on to reduced competitiveness in these markets and then prices going up as we've seen on other routes. So I think that the concerns that have been expressed have been expressed for good reason, but most importantly, this is not a new problem. Why is the government only acting now rather than having been working with potential purchasers on the sale of Rex to make sure that it does stay in private hands in the interests of regional Australians who want to travel on this airline? I just think it is catch-up and flat-footedness from this government and bad socialist policies, which you'd expect from this mob.
I think the TWU might have something to do with that. Now, the Treasurer called on financial regulators today to soften home lending rules so it would be easier for people with HEX debts to purchase a home. Here he was explaining the reasoning for this change.
We need to recognise that student debt is different to other kinds of debt. It's different because paying it back is contingent on income. If people are between jobs, the repayment of student debt is paused. There are a whole range of reasons why this is a different kind of debt.
Now, Nick, ostensibly the point of this is to try and make sure that the government meets its goal of building 1.2 million homes. Like, OK, we'll get more money out there so people can buy and build homes. But haven't we been talking about this small problem of inflation for a while, which was in no small part caused by the fact that lots of money was lent to people, and now the answer apparently is to lend even more money?
Yeah, look, and it worries me that the Treasurer is saying that HEX debt isn't real debt. Look, it is debt. It's debt to people like me. I'm a taxpayer. You know, and Albanese's great plan to ease the HEX debt of 4 million students, or 3 million students, I think it is, it's going to cost every taxpayer $1,500. So I've got to fork out $1,500. Some smart aleck can do a degree in communications, you know, bullshit at Southern Queensland University, have I? I mean, that's where we're at. And it is a real debt. And the, you know, he says, well, it's a contingent on how much you earn. So do you think a bank is going to give a loan to somebody who hasn't actually reached the threshold where you have to pay that back? Look, I really understand where young people are in trying to get a foothold in the property market. They've got HEX debt. They've got superannuation. You know, they have to compulsorily give 11.5% of their wages in superannuation, going to 12% in June. Well, why can't the Treasurer look at what the opposition is proposing, you know, to actually lower the super obligation while people get a foothold in the property market? Because after all, when you reach my age and you're sort of approaching retirement, the most important thing is to have a house, you know, even before you've got a super balance. So that's the obvious way to go, but of course, Labor, of course, is in debt to the super funds and their cronies there, so that's not going to happen.
Yes, and if you've got an issue with the cost of housing, I don't think having more money swimming around in the bunch of people who want to buy houses is actually going to do anything about the cost of housing.